It is time now for our financial moment with Heidi, and today we're focused on why having a will is so important, along with the differences depending on where you live. Our contributor for all things financial is Heidi Hueskamp-Collins, and she is joining us in the studio now. Heidi, welcome back.
Good to be here.
It is so good to have you here and chat with you again about such important topics. So today, a startling statistic, more than 62% of Americans do not have a will or a trust.
You know, I find it in my practice every day, and it's so hard to reconcile because they're such important, you know, end documents to have, such important planning documents. But, you know, a lot of people put it off.
Yeah.
There's fear. They don't know what to do. So it's really a startling statistic.
I think it is, and I think people put it off and they don't want to think about it because they feel like, you know, I don't have to think about it for whatever reason. That's just, I mean, what often is the reasoning that people give you, I guess, when you ask, like, you know, do you want to get something started here? Do you want me to help you work on this? Because it is important, and I don't think it really matters how old you are. I think, you know, once you're 18 years old, why not?
You know, I have that conversation with every single person that walks through my door, and I can, you know, get them on the right path.
Yeah.
And, you know, here's the thing. A lot of people, even really financially savvy people, you know, just are fearful to talk about this.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest piece, Morgan, is that people, you know, don't like to talk about something, you know, about like dying. And so they don't, you know, they don't, but this is a conversation we all have to have.
Absolutely. So, okay, so when there is no will or trust, dividing up everything, that can vary depending on what state you live in. I don't think that's something that a lot of people realize.
No, and today we're going to talk about if you pass while you're a resident of Illinois.
Okay.
And then when I come back in 2 weeks, we're going to talk about whether you're a resident of Iowa.
Okay, good to know.
But the two states differ entirely.
Wow. That's very interesting.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the basics. So first, you know, sometimes you think of your family, so we think of if somebody has a spouse and or children. So let's start there.
Okay. So if you have a spouse but no children, spouse gets 100%. Easy. Easy peasy. If you have no spouse, if you're widowed or divorced but have children, the children will divide your estate equally.
Okay.
Now, this is something, if you have a spouse and children, in the state of Illinois, your spouse will only get 50%.
Okay.
And then the children will evenly split the other 50%.
Okay.
Now, a lot of folks that come to me for estate planning want 100% of their assets to go first to their spouse and then to their children if the spouse has already passed. So if you live in Illinois, you're not going to get that.
Okay.
So you need to have a document in order.
Okay, so that is something that you can have changed, but just the law in Illinois?
The law in Illinois is if you have no trust or will, 50% is going to go to your kids.
Okay.
And, you know, it could be that maybe you're estranged from one of your kids.
Right.
It's not going to matter.
Okay, that's just the way it goes. So what happens when there's no spouse and no children?
Okay. If you have parents and siblings, then they will split it equally in equal shares. But if you have one parent who has passed, the living parent gets their share too. Okay. So they get 2 shares, and then the siblings they each have their share.
Okay.
If there are no parents, no siblings, then it goes to the grandchildren of siblings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, if there are any of those around.
Okay.
And if there are no grandchildren or other descendants, it's going to be split equally halfway down the middle, 50% to the parental relatives left over, cousins, second cousins, you know, once removed, whatever, and half to the maternal.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about significant others? I don't know that I would have thought.
Yeah, in the state of Illinois, they do not recognize common law marriage.
Okay.
Okay, so it does not matter whether you've been living with someone for 50 years and, you know, you present to the world as a couple. if there's no legal document saying you're married, that person is cut out.
Okay, and then finally, if there are absolutely no relatives, is
Then
that even a possibility? That
then
really
the great state of Illinois is going to take every dime that you ever owned.
So you better have something in order where you want that money going to your favorite nonprofit or...
Exactly, or a friend.
Yeah.
You know, or your high school or your church or something, because I don't think you want your money going to the government.
Okay, wow. Interesting. And we're going to learn more about Iowa in a couple weeks. But to learn more about the variety of services Heidi offers, visit her website, hhcinvestments.net. And a reminder, you can see our previous segments with Heidi by visiting kwqc.com and clicking the tab for Quad Cities Live. You'll find it right there. As always, Heidi, thank you so much for
Good to be here.
Wealth of information.